Welcome everybody to the ultimate all things sports garage rebuild. Let's get into this brand new review. Alright everybody, Mike McIntyre, All Things Sports, back with a brand new review. This is a video I've been dying to make for months now. I was a little slow to get the final one out there, but I'm finally back and I'm here to show you the finished product of the ultimate all things sports garage rebuild. So I'm here to show you everything that we did in this single car garage to rebuild it into a workshop slash garage slash little all things sports studio. So let's get into this review. I'm going to take you around the garage and show you everything that we did. I'll show you what's in here. I'll link some of the products down below. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those and I'm going to get an answer out to you. So let's show you what this brand new garage rebuild is all about and how we completed it. Alright guys, so let's start on this wall over here because it's probably the least glamorous wall that's in the garage. So this wall originally had pegboard on it and I wanted to keep the pegboard because it's actually quite useful and for all of the everyday sort of household tools, gardening tools, brooms, rakes, shovels, all that stuff, ladders, it does what it needs to do. But originally the wall went the entire length of the garage and it was all tools and I just don't think it was laid out super efficiently. At least here I have half the pegboard dedicated to tools and the other half on the other side is a little bit more dedicated towards equipment and sporting goods and that kind of thing. So I kept this section here. It works well. I have the tools that I need organized for everyday household items and I think it does a good job here. At the end of the garage, it's out of the way and I'm allowed to park the car into it. Down at the other end of the pegboard, this is the same wall. Again, we had the pegboard going all the way to the back here. Now, I had my cabinet here and I wanted to leave a little bit of space for the door to open, get my golf clubs in. I'll show you that in a second. So we actually trimmed the pegboard off a little bit and sort of reduced its length. And this section here is kind of dedicated towards sporting goods and that kind of thing. So I have my Topeak Ultimate Prep Stand Pro right here. This is a bike maintenance stand. I have the Topeak lineup stand hung up here, my Bontrager pump, skateboard, squash racket, my helmet, my girlfriend's helmet, my cleats go here, her cleats go there, and it's a good way to organize the wall and keep all of our sporting goods here. Up here I have two bags. There's a black one here that's behind the bike, it's a little more difficult to see, and of course the red one, you can see it right there. I use those bags for, you know, keeping tennis rackets and squash rackets, baseballs, that kind of stuff. They're extra bags that I can use for sporting goods and that kind of stuff, and they work well up there. They're out of the way, they're not in the way of the bike, and it just gives me another option for storage. So let's go to the back wall. Actually, you know what? Let's save the back wall for last. Let's go to this wall over here. Over here on this end of the wall, this is the right-hand wall that's right next to the garage door. The garage door's there. This is kind of just a little utility section where I have my hose reel. Up here, I have a free space. I'd eventually like to get a pressure washer up there when I do my car detailing. So that is kind of what I left that little square free for. I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna work, but that was kind of the idea there. Here you can see an external outlet. This is something that we wired to add an extra outlet into the garage. Originally there was only one, and it was being used to plug the garage door motor into, and it just really wasn't efficient. So we added one, this one, the external one, another one on that back wall, and we added one to the top so that the garage door could plug directly into it. So there are now way more outlets in here. This one's handy because if I'm, you know, cleaning the car, vacuuming, detailing with the pressure washer, I have an outlet here that's close to the end of the garage that I can use to plug in any kind of equipment like that. So in that sense, I'm really glad that we added it. We run the wiring through this kind of conduit material and it blends into the wall. It's the same color. So it runs down and then along the bottom of the wall all the way to the back to join up to the other outlets on that back wall. So I'm pretty proud of that. My dad helped me with that. It was his idea. For a while, I thought it was just a big faff, but in the end, I'm really glad that we did it. And then this right here is a cabinet that was originally in the garage. So maybe you recognize it. I actually like the cabinet. It's not very deep, and I think it works well here. Originally, we had it on the back wall, and it's good to store a few simple things. It's not meant to store, you know, your entire tool bag or anything like that. But I just have some unique or one-off tools in here: gloves, some pliers, scissors, a shovel, a couple screwdrivers, a hammer, tape measure, utility knives, a couple screwdrivers, like I said, cutters, you know, that kind of stuff, utility tape, all that stuff. It's just good to have, you know, your little kind of household tools that you need, that you want to grab quickly. It's a nice place to put it. So just one more little thing underneath the boot wall here, if you're wondering what these are. This is something that my grandfather used to have, and I just spray painted it because it was yellow. So I wanted it to match kind of the colors that I'm using in the garage. So I spray painted it black. I have 2 of them. And the idea is they're this plastic bumper. So when you open the car door, when the car is parked in the garage, it won't ding the door against the wall, and this serves as a bumper just to protect the door. And then over here, I created my own little Obsessed Garage bucket filler. So this is the original hose outlet, the bib, whatever you want to call it, that came out of the wall. And originally it was brass. So I spray painted it silver just to give it a better sort of look. And then I found this kind of aluminum seal that I just stuck behind it to finish off the drywall around the hose bib. Then of course you have the hose that runs along the garage to the reel at the back. So this is one hose, but I wanted to attach a bucket filler. So if anyone has seen Obsessed Garage, it's actually a good idea. He's got this short 18 to 24 inch hose that comes out of his hose bib, and its sole purpose is to fill up his car washing or detailing buckets when he does his car washes. So it's actually a really good idea, and I kind of wanted to makeshift my own on a budget because his stainless steel hose that's, you know, 2 feet long, if that, is like 250 bucks. So this is a hack, if you will, that in my opinion works really well. Sure, it's not the same quality level as his, but I'm not spending $250 when I can make this myself for $5. So I'll show you what I did. I found a plastic Y splitter, okay, at the hardware store. This is gonna break, I'm fully aware of that. It's $4. It's not a big deal. It's made out of plastic and it has 2 valves. So you can twist these valves to send the water flow to whichever hose you want. So if I want it to go to the green one, I just open this valve, the water will go through the green hose. If I want it to go solely to the bucket filler here, this little black one, I just open this valve and the water comes through. So this is an old hose we had lying around. It was old, it was kind of, you know, it's done its time. And we found a 18-inch section of the hose that was in good shape. We bought these $4, you know, male and female couplers that go on the end of the hose. We twisted them in, duct taped them up to finish them, sealed them, and boom, voila. I've got, for $5, a bucket filler of my own. All I need to do is twist this valve to open it, and the water will flow out here into my bucket. It's about 18 inches long, and it works perfectly. Again, it's a consumable. I'm fully aware that this plastic piece will break eventually, but for $4, what do I care? I'll just buy a new one, twist it on, and boom, it's gonna work. So I'm really, really happy with that. It's a hack, it's an Obsessed Garage hack, but for car detailing, it's absolutely worth it. And to be honest, this was a genius idea. I give him full credit for having a dedicated hose there to, you know, fill up his buckets, because with only one, this one's connected to the pressure washer, and then to fill my buckets up, I have to disconnect this from the pressure washer, change the nozzle, put the green hose in the bucket, fill the buckets up, then disconnect the nozzle again and connect the green hose to the pressure washer. It's just a faff. This, 18 inches, $5, $4 for this, and I have a dedicated bucket filler so I can keep this connected to the pressure washer, fill up my 2 buckets for washing the car, and boom, I'm done. It's a great idea and a great solution in my opinion. All right guys, so this part is special. This is really cool. This was a lot of thinking, and it was important to me to get it done, and I had this vision in my head to kind of make it look like a feature wall, obviously, as well. I had a bunch of cleats at my parents' house when I lived at my parents' house when I was younger, and they just sat in the garage. I had them stacked in this big pile in the corner, and it was a mess. They were hard to get to because of all the stuff we had, but it just wasn't a nice way to display them. I had kept all these boots. It's a bit of a collection, and I figured, why not have a place to display them? You probably don't want them in the house, so the garage is obviously the best place to do it. So I wanted a way where I could hang these things up and display them to show off the collection that I had accumulated over the years of playing soccer. So I came up with the idea of getting a bunch of shelves, or these little rows with these little hooks on them, so that I could hang the boots up. They would be out of the way, but they'd also be easy to get to, and they would actually look pretty cool. So they start over here, And you can see I have a ton of rows of shoes. I have about 25 pairs hanging up. And then I have a little corner here for my bag and shin guards, and you know, when I play, I can just grab the pair of boots I want, throw them in that bag, and you know, take off. So I have a ton of room for extras. If you know, there's another row down here, as you can see. So if I have more cleats, if I get more cleats that, you know, that belong to me, I have a place to put them. So this is my boot wall. I'm using these little plastic 2-inch L hooks that come off of Amazon, and they're pretty good because again, there's enough to go into the cleat. They're probably the length of my finger, and they just hang there, and there's no way they're gonna come off. And I, you know, spent a bit of time figuring out how much space I needed between each one, both on the horizontal axis as well as vertically. I figured out, okay, I need 6 holes in between each pair of hooks, and I need about 10 pegboard hooks, or holes I should say, between the rows. And it turned out really well. And then I just sort of hung them up based on age. So the oldest ones are up here going left to right. So I have Nike Legends from 2005, Predator Vapors from 2010. I have a pair of Puma Evo Power 4.0s, the Vigors. Those ones I put up there because they're a little bit newer, but they broke, so I'll never be able to wear them, but I just wanted to keep them. Predator X, Predator Addy Power, LZ, LZ2, Predator Instinct. This is the first generation when they got rid of the Predator, the Ace in 2015, Adidas Ace Pure Control, the laceless version, Ace 17 Leather, Ace 17 Prime Knit, Ace 17 Pure Control, the Nitro Charge from 2013, I think it was, the 1.0s, the first generation, Addy Zero F50 from 2011, 2012, Evo Power 1.2, Evo Power 1.2, Nike Phantom Venoms. I have my special edition Adidas Predator Precisions, the David Beckham ones that dropped. That was a birthday present to myself. Puma 1.5. I like these, but to be honest, I was a little disappointed when I actually got them. And then I have Mizuno Morelia Neos, the 2s, okay, Morelia Neo 2, and finally the Puma Future 1.5. The Puma Future Zs, I hate those. These ones were so much better in my opinion. So that's my boot wall. Again, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hooks that I could hang up to another 8 pairs of boots. And if I get even more than that, all I need to do is take these bags off and I can fit in another 4 or 5 pairs there. So, but for now, I think it looks absolutely extraordinary. So I'm really, really happy with the way this turned out. Just hung a piece of pegboard up, painted it the same color as the wall, and it just looks really, really good. So let's show you the ceiling. So the lights are provided by American Green Lights. I got these from a guy named Jim Uno. I contacted him when I saw a reviewer do these on YouTube, and I thought they would work perfectly in this garage, and he was a massive help. So he used his computer software to determine how much light I would need, how bright it is, and exactly where I need to place them. So you can see I have a total of 8 LED strips. There are 4 in this row and 4 in that row over there. So 4. So I have a total of 8 LED lights, and they just run vertically on a perfectly straight line from the back of the garage to the front, and it looks absolutely amazing. The lighting in here, as you can tell by the video, is super clear. It's very bright, it's accurate, it's not yellow, it's not dim. It was a little tricky getting them up, so my dad had this really good idea. We had to wire them from a power outlet. So there's a black box right there that's strapped to the arms that are holding up the garage motor. It's probably hard to see because we painted it black. But that is a driver that powers all the lights. And you can see we've hidden all the cables along the ceiling. And because we painted the ceiling black, it all blends in. So you'll never see the cables unless you're looking up at the light. And even at that, it's bright enough that you don't really want to be looking up there. So behind the lights are these aluminum strips, these J strips. And because we didn't want to cut into the drywall to wire the lighting, we just found these aluminum strips at the hardware store. We hid the wires in there and then stuck the lights to that aluminum strip. And it turned out perfectly. You'll never know that there are wires up there that are on the underside of the drywall. And it looks really, really good. And then we used some plastic conduit to hide some of the leftover wires that had to get to the driver, which is right there. If it focuses, there you go. and that's where they all go. So it was an absolutely brilliant idea. And then you can see there's the outlet that we put in. That is powering the garage door motor. So absolutely, just blown away by the quality of the lights. Super happy that I got them. And then I added this. These I found at Home Depot. They're $14 T-strips or T-hooks, if you will. And I just screwed them into the joists of the ceiling above, and I'm holding my skis up there. So it's a perfect way to hide my skis. And the other bonus about them is that they're above the garage door when it's up. So when the garage door comes up and it runs along the track here, there's enough space so that the garage door can be underneath those skis. So for the bikes, all right, you can see there are 2 ropes hanging down here, and they're screwed into these little hooks that come with the hoist to attach the rope to, and it works perfectly. They're screwed into the strips that are holding the pegboard up, and it works really, really well. So I'll take my bike down just to show you exactly how it works. So it's very easy, okay? You take the string that's here, you take the string, you just uncoil a little bit of it so you have some slack, and this is just serving as a lock mechanism so that the bike doesn't slip and doesn't fall down if ever you're using it. There is a built-in method to the actual hoist itself. So as you can see, I have a ton of loose string here, and I can let it go and the bike's not gonna fall down because there's a lock mechanism built into the hoist. So all I need to do, it kind of works like old school blinds. I pull it to one direction, you heard that click, now the hoist is released and I can lower down the bike. Okay, so I'm stepping on it. So it works really, really well. It will never slip on you. You don't need to be super strong to do it. Again, you just let it come down, a little bit of control, and boom. I've got the bike down and I can get it off and ride off with it, and then I can put it back up for storage purposes. We mounted the hoist to a piece of wood. So we screwed in each piece of the hoist. If you can see, there's one footing with a string onto it, and it's screwed into a piece of wood that we painted black. There's a screw holding the piece of wood into the joist, and those screws are into the joist as well with the other piece. And it's the same on the other lift there. You can see there's a bunch of screws into the piece of wood. Some of those are going into a joist, those 2 are going into a joist, and some of those are going into the joist as well. So it's super solid, and there's no way it's coming down. Anybody can get them up and down, and they're out of the way. They're above the car when it's parked in here, and it just works really, really well. So I'll show you how I put it back up. So again, I mean, it's really not complicated. You just pull until the thing's up as high as you need it to be, and then I just straighten the wheelbase out so that it's out of the way, make sure it's locked, boom, done, and then you just twist this up again so that if ever the lock mechanism were to fail, you have a backup here, and as long as the string is relatively tight, it'll never come down. So that's it. It's so easy. It gets the thing off the ground and out of the way, and there you go. I straighten the wheels out. I'm not a super tall person, so it doesn't hit my head. It's out of the way. I have enough height clearance in here. I got both bikes up there, and it works exactly as I wanted it to. So super, super happy with that. Oh, even one more thing, the floor. As you can see, the floor, that was a project as well. That was the last step of the whole thing. As you can see, I'm really happy with this. We used a lot of material. We used some, I forget the name of it, Planny Patch, that's what it was called. We used Planny Patch because of 25 years of salt and grime and sort of neglect. The floor was kind of breaking off in certain pieces. The concrete was coming off, and it just didn't look good. And you saw it in the last part of the second episode where I showed you the floor. So we put a bunch of Planny Patch on. You get this kind of bag of powder, you mix it with water, and it turns into this cement-like compound. You pour it down, and it's a self-leveler, but it's Planny Patch. So apparently, it's supposed to be a little more resistant to any kind of cracking or anything like that. So we've eliminated all the cracks. We caulked up some of the little low points here. It's not perfectly level because, as you can see, there's a drain here. So it still needs to drain towards the middle so that water can, disperse and flow away. But it's much better than it used to be. We leveled it out, and then we used this epoxy home kit from Techniseal, and it was a 4-step process once we got the honey patch down, and once that dried, we had to prime it first, then we had to paint it, then we had to coat it with this clear coat to set the paint down, then you put the paint chips down, you flip those, and then you coat it again, and I actually did that twice, so I don't know how many steps I did. We painted it, we gave it 2 or 3 coats of paint, then we coated it with the clear coat, then we put the paint chips, then I clear coated it again, then I put more paint chips to kind of fill out some of the areas that were lacking, if you will, and then I put another 2 coats of clear coat on top to really seal the thing in, and I'm super happy with the way it turned out. I think it looks good, it's much more level, it still drains towards the middle, but overall, for a home job, it's not, you know, thousands of dollars like a real epoxy would be. It's a home kit. I did it myself with my dad, and it turned out really well. We even did the step, as you can see there, so it blends in nicely, and it just looks really, really good. So I highly recommend this epoxy home kit from Techniseal. We have a neighbor that works for the company that actually got it for us, so that worked out really, really well, and I'm really happy with the way it looked. We even did the drain here, and it just looks really good. So that was the floor. It's a Techniseal product. I think they call it the Carbopoxy material, or the kit, the Carbopoxy kit, to give you this home epoxy look. And again, it looks really, really good. All right, so here we go. The final bit of the garage, the back wall. This was the most important part of the project. This was where everything was gonna happen. I knew that if I wanted to get the car in here because of this garage, and it's so damn bloody small, I knew I would have to maximize the space at the back of the garage as much as possible. Now, just like everybody else, I mean, I have a car, my girlfriend has a car, and we live in Canada, so we need 2 sets of tires. We have summer tires, we have winter tires. So I wanted a way to get tires in here, give me some storage, but get them off the floor so that I could actually get the car in here. And the only way to do it was to use or find a shelf that was strong enough to support the weight of winter tires and rims. So these shelves, I tried so hard to get this company on board for sponsoring this series of videos. These are made by NewAge products, and they were the only thing I could find like it online. I tried so hard to get them to sponsor this video. I was in contact with them for weeks on end, and no matter how hard I tried, they weren't going to supply them for the video. But I wanted them so badly because they were the only thing I knew that would work. So I went out and I bought these myself. So these are 4 feet wide shelves. I have 2 of them. There's one here and there's one here. They're 4 feet wide by 2 feet deep. And in order for them to support the weight, they had to be drilled into studs. We have lag bolts. So my dad and I, as you saw in that video, we tore down that back wall and we reinforced the studs where we knew the shelves would have to be bolted into. So because I had the shelves ahead of time, I could plan exactly where I needed the studs. So I knew, okay, if I want the shelf there, I need a stud at this point, I need a stud at this point, and we went crazy. We have 3 2x4s in the middle. We have 4 2x4s in that corner. So there's a ton of wood in that wall. That wood is probably the most solid wall in the house now. But we went to town on these shelves because we never wanted them to fall. And I mounted them with about 32 inches of clearance from the top of the shelf to the ceiling. So I know that I'm gonna have more than enough room to get the tires up there. And because of the shelves and how big they are, I've got Monica's tires up here, her 4 summers, because her winters are on, obviously. I've got 2 storage bins that I can stack here. These are my tires, they're a little bit bigger. The summer ones for the Audi are 19-inch rims and they're 235s, so they're quite wide. But I've got all 4 of them there. I have 2 bags of material here. I have skates, baseball gloves, other sporting goods, and then I have a bag of soccer balls up there as well. I have everything supported up there. It's out of the way, it's never gonna fall, and I'm so happy with these. I would highly recommend them to anybody that was looking to store anything in your garage. They come in different versions as well. You can get an 8-foot one. You can get them 4 feet deep if you want. You can actually mount them one on top of the other. So for example, I could have one here and then a second one underneath with the cables attaching to the underside of the shelf. They're really, really good. They're versatile. They support a ton of weight. That thing's supposed to support up to 600 pounds. I'm probably only using 350 out of the 600. Then under here, I put another one. This is just a Canadian Tire shelf I found. and it works well. I wanted a second one underneath that was not very deep. I just wanted a little one where I could put, you know, garbage bags and spray paint and cleaning products and other things like that. So that's all that shelf is doing. And then of course you see the cabinet and the golf club. So over here, I had to build this little shelf. So I talked about this in all the other videos. I don't know why, but the garage has like this little step up at the back over here, okay? You can see that right there. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. And again, I wanted the cabinet to fit at the very back of the garage because we needed to maximize space. So I knew I needed it flush against the wall, but I had to deal with this step. So I created this makeshift shelf here that supports the front of the cabinet, and I left a small space in this corner so that I could fit my golf clubs in. And it's perfect. It has this little corner where it's protected. I was able to find one of those shelves, or those hooks, sorry, at Home Depot. It's a little bit dark in there, hold on. Let me just change. There you can see. So there's a little hook there, and all I did, that bag has my golf shoes in it. So that's all that's there for. And it works really, really well. I just have that little corner there. I have that picture of my favorite Ferrari Enzo when I was a kid. Put that up on the wall, perfect in a garage. And that little nook there just works perfectly for the golf clubs. You can see that it's just sitting on the shelf. And then of course I have my Canadian Tire cabinet. This is a 36-inch wide cabinet, 18 inches deep, and 6 feet tall, so 72 inches. And inside I keep all of my car detailing products, as well as a few other kind of just household items. So I have brake buster in there, a clay bar kit. This is a small little briefcase. It's a tool case for the Topeak Prepbox toolkit for bike maintenance. I'm going to talk about that in a second. These are some of my wheel brushes. I have some cleaning products there, microfiber towels, IK Foam 2, sprayer. This is the Griot's Brilliant Finish Foam Cannon. Up here, some more towels, some, you know, little socket sets, some little utility stuff. Down there, there are my buckets, my drying towel, a couple more brushes, salt for the winter, my girlfriend's rollerblades, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So this cabinet is great. I just store all my car detailing stuff in there mainly, and it works really, really well. Over here, these are another little accessory I found at Canadian Tire. This is a little kit that you get these magnetic shelves, and they're made specifically for this cabinet. So they're just magnets. So here, they're just little shelves. I can put some bike cleaning products in there. I have some chain lube, some degreaser, some extra inner tubes. Up here I have a patch kit, shop towels. That is this cool magnetic kind of roller so that I can just roll these off if I need. This one I have some more car detailing brushes, small detail brushes, tire brush, stuff like that. And then this one I just keep my lights in, some charging cables, wireless speaker. There's one of the outlets that we did. And it just works really, really well. We just have this shelf kind of magnetically stuck to the cabinet, and I think it looks really good and it serves a purpose. Then of course, here's my little TV that I put in here, mounted that directly to the wood studs behind. We added that outlet there specifically so that we could plug the TV in, and I have my Amazon Prime stick in there, so when I'm in here and I'm working, I can listen to music, I can watch something, all that kind of stuff. This wall is all thanks to Katie from Todson Sports. She sent out that Prepbox. You saw the briefcase that I kept in the cabinet. It's a great briefcase for that mobile mechanic that needs to take things with him. But for all of the times, for 90% of the time when I'm at home, I want to be able to grab the tools quickly. So I had an extra piece of pegboard left from when I put that one up, and I decided to cut it to fit, and I decided to mount it here and then spray paint some of the pegboard hooks that I had, spray paint in black because I thought it would look good. And then I took all the tools that came in that prep box and I have them just hanging here quickly so that I can grab one when I need to do any kind of maintenance on my bikes. So you can see I've got the Allen keys here, the torque keys, cable cutters, torque wrench, chain tool, screwdriver. I have a free hub tool. I have a chain ring tool. I have the crank arm right here. I have a chain whip tool, I have a pedal wrench, a bottom bracket tool, tire wrenches, everything that I would possibly need to do any kind of home mechanic stuff on my bikes. I have it there, it's mounted on the wall, and that was a cool little project. That turned out great so that I can just grab it and go whenever I'm in the middle of doing something. So there you have it. That is pretty much it for the garage rebuild. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. I have everything in here that I wanted to get in here. There's a couple little products, like I said, I wanted to add, mainly that folding workbench. But other than that, this thing turned out absolutely perfectly, and it wouldn't have been possible without a lot of the help that I got. Thank you to Behr Canada for supplying the paint. Thank you to Jim from American Green Lights for providing me with the lighting. Thanks to Katie for all of the bike products that she sent my way. The maintenance stand, the Prepbox toolkit, the lineup stand. Everything was just so helpful, and I couldn't be happier with the result. I put a lot of time into this. I had a lot of help from my dad to help me build this, but it turned out perfectly. I think we maximized every little bit of space that we had in here, so I can still get a car in here, even in this tiny one-car garage. And I can't wait to do more projects. I have more in mind that will hopefully come your way in 2022. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, smash the like button. I really want to get this video out there because I'm super proud of it, and I think it can actually help a lot of people. It can give them some ideas for their workshop or their garage space. Supporting this video, thank you for watching this series. I know it was a long one, but this is a video I'm very proud of, and I'm just so excited with the way this garage turned out. It's exactly what I wanted. So that's it, we're wrapping the video up. That's an end to the 2021 All Things Sports project, the garage rebuild. Thank you for watching. Mike McIntyre, All Things Sports, sign off for now. Catch you in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.